over the past couple of weeks and months, you could tell we've been a solid defensive, cohesive unit. And I just felt like that was definitely not there in the first, at least in the first half. I felt that.
I actually think a lot of this is to do with Doucoure's absence.
Okay.
Because I think the midfield looked lost. I think Idrissa Gueye, James Garner and Amadou Onana are three very good players, but not one of them has got the abilities what Doucoure does to play with Calvert-Lewin and to get everyone up the pitch. Yeah. I think what we saw last night was essentially just a guy wants to sit him onto the back four. Onana was pretty much alongside him for large parts, I thought. And then James Garner's kind of floating in between, but not playing as a number 10.
Yeah.
Not being able to get on the ball and make things happen, just kind of floating around and trying to pick up second balls.
Yeah.
And I think what happened last night, I thought, from a perspective, was that Everton, in terms of if Doucoure plays, he gets them up the pitch because he goes and squeezes with Calvert-Lewin, which means that Onana and James Garner have got to squeeze up the pitch, which means the back four have to squeeze up the pitch because they don't want to leave the gaps in behind. We didn't see that last night because I think Idrissa Gueye and Onana were too deep. Garner was just kind of chasing shadows in the middle of the park and trying to make things happen, and Calvert-Lewin was up top, frustrated by him feeding off scraps. So I think where you're coming from is right in terms of we didn't look defensive cohesion, but I think Doucoure's absence has a lot to do with that, because I think we saw last night, it's the classic case with Doucoure of you don't know what you've got until it's not there.
Yeah.
And I think what we saw last night is that he's an absolutely fundamental part of everything that's going to be good about Everton this season, and his pace energy makes a massive difference in getting everyone 20-25 yards up the pitch. And on the flip side of that, and I've actually wrote this to stuff online today in tomorrow's paper, I think that's where Onana's got to do more, and he's got to be the one who takes the green by the scruff of the neck, gets everyone 20 yards up the pitch. I think sometimes he just settles to kind of play the easy way, should we say, and go and play alongside Idrissa Gueye. Yeah. But he's got to take the control and take demands and say, right, we're moving 20 yards up the pitch and we're going to get up. I don't think that happened last night, and I think Everton paid the consequence of that because they didn't get up the pitch as freely and as comfortably as probably what they have done in recent weeks. When you look at the goal against Newcastle, for instance, the two goals, that comes because Everton are high up the pitch, ready to pounce on mistakes by Newcastle in their final third. Yeah. Last night, I don't think the fullbacks of Fulham got closed down anywhere near like they did against Newcastle, and if anything, it just invited the pressure because there was pockets of space and to pick the ball off and retain possession.
I'm glad you brought Doucoure up because, in my notes and my questions, I have got stuff that I wanted to bring up. So, you've kind of touched upon it a little bit, but I'll go into it a little bit more, further into the podcast. Before we do, just kind of, the last point on the defence, and again, I just think we've been so defensively solid over the past couple of weeks and months that I was a little bit disappointed in how, obviously we only conceded one goal. It was an own goal. It's come from Michael Keane. I mean, he just can't catch a break sometimes at the moment. I know, fantastic goal against Burnley, but of his defensive duties, whether you describe it as a mistake, as an own goal, I'm not saying it is a mistake, it's very unlucky, but like I say, he just can't catch a break sometimes in the heart of that defence.